This one was so wild that I made 2 videos on the main channel about it. And Ubisoft was the story of the day that was the talk of the town. It is insane what's happening at Ubisoft right now. Like, absolutely nuts. I cannot stress enough how serious and dire it is for Ubisoft employees right now. Wario64 on Twitter said, Ubisoft announces the creation of a new subsidiary. Tencent will invest 1.16 billion euros for a minority stake in the new subsidiary. This new subsidiary will focus on building game ecosystems designed to become truly evergreen and multi-platform. So here's the full-on release, which I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but my videos that I talked about on the channel were basically focused on Tencent has a 25% share. They now have more control and more say in what happens with Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six brands. As for the other brands from Ubisoft, nobody knows what's happening with them, and there's a lot of concern around those. Ubisoft is opening a new chapter in its history, says Yves Guillemot, the co-founder and chief executive officer. As we accelerate the company's transformation, this is a foundational step in changing Ubisoft's operational model that will enable us to both be agile and ambitious. We are focused on building strong game ecosystems designed to become evergreen, growing high-performing brands, and creating new IPs powered by cutting-edge and emerging technologies, which is great in theory. Here's a little pushback that I have for these massive game companies, and the only one that seems to understand it, like on another level, not to be a Nintendo simp, but it really is Nintendo when it comes down to it, because they understand that you don't create a game ecosystem and then build into that. You create a game with a world and then build into the ecosystem. So all these major companies are putting the cart before the horse. It reminds me of that Unknown 9 universe when they're like, the game's coming out, they have a book series, a podcast, they're working on a TV show and all these other things with Unknown 9. Exactly, Demon Cow, yeah, basically Unknown 9, where they want the universe to exist and then throw the game in there and be like, oh, hey, it's like, Star Wars? It's like Star Wars. It's got this whole universe. It's like, no. Star Wars started out with the original trilogy, which, yes, obviously George Lucas had a idea for the universe, but it was more focused and fixated on the specifics that wanted you to explore more of it. But what they're doing is creating all of it and then using the framework for all of the universe first, and then picking one little spot of it and saying, okay, we're going to start here and then start connecting the dots and webbing it out and creating this gigantic money-making machine that will print money forever, because this universe is just, it's the biggest thing ever. It's the next Mario. It's the next Pokemon. It's the next Minecraft. They just want their whole universe for everything to fall into it. The problem that has is it doesn't work in gaming. Because with gaming, people take to the game. They want to have a passion for what the game world is and learn more about the lore, and they need that to be coming if they care about it. But the problem is that these companies are putting the lore out there that people don't, they haven't worked to get to a point of caring about the lore. So why would you throw all this lore on people that be like, why should I care about this universe? I haven't done anything to care about it. Why are you giving me the whole thing? Relationship terms, 1.16 billion for approximate 25% economic interest in the subsidiary. That'll be used to strengthen Ubisoft's balance sheet by significantly reducing its consolidated net debt position, accelerate the group's transformation, and sustain growth of selected franchises. After the closing of this transaction, the new subsidiary would remain exclusively controlled and consolidated. That should be a scary word for employees of Ubisoft. consolidated by Ubisoft. So they go into all these other details, creating the subsidiary, 5-year lockup undertaking for the shares and voting rights, and talking about the shares and call options at the bottom there. Okay, so all the nitty-gritty details. Hypnotic said, Ubisoft has officially sold its video game franchises and formed a new subsidiary, giving Tencent 25% ownership and royalties. Ubisoft did so well with Assassin's Creed Shadows, they were still forced to sell. This new subsidiary is already worth more than Ubisoft itself, with the massive investment from Tencent. This new subsidiary will own all the intellectual properties of the video game IPs Ubisoft formerly owned. Great work. At least you can ratio people on X. Now, I don't know how the nitty-gritty of like behind the scenes business operations work when it comes to debt and debt consolidation, but maybe there are laws. I don't know what international laws are with Canada and China getting involved. It gets pretty murky. But this could be a way to create a life raft for their major IPs, create a subsidiary company, and push that life raft away from the buried in debt with billions, plural, billions of dollars in debt that Ubisoft is burdened with right now. Push these games on a life raft away from it and just have Ubisoft as a corporation just kind of collapse onto itself. And this new entity that they created with Tencent will own the games, and it secured them away from bankruptcy from other people. It makes you wonder. And I never really thought about that until right now. I don't know, again, I don't know the legalities, if they're allowed to do stuff like that. And if they are, that's pretty fucked up, because it basically means your debt is meaningless if you just take on all this debt. And then you're just like, you know what? We can't pay our bills back. We don't want to lose our IPs. So we're going to put our IPs on this life raft, push the life raft away, and let our boat sink. And we will build a new boat with that life raft over there. It's what it looks like is happening right now. And then we have another amazing content creator. We got Kirsha. Says, hey, remember that Tencent director whose job is to assess companies for acquisition they tried playing off as a wholesome chungus small YouTuber at the Game Awards? Remember this guy? It's almost like there might be some sort of vested interest in making sure these companies tank their value. Look at this friendly fellow here, Amir Satvat, who I've mentioned to you guys before. My LinkedIn account was IP banned for months because I dared reply to this guy under where Nick Calandra was replying to something, trying to act like he's holier than thou. And I'm like, no, Nick Calandra did all these awful things to me. And then my LinkedIn account was banned, IP banned. I couldn't even log in the following day. I've never posted to any replies anywhere on LinkedIn except there. And the following day I was IP banned. So this guy has a lot of power, okay? That's what I'm saying. He's not this humble guy that's just helping people out. Like, this guy has some serious connections, and he is a high up executive at Tencent. He's not some humble dude that just works out of his home and just helps out YouTubers. That's the image that he's trying to portray. Said, I am really happy with Ubisoft these days. This is from a year ago, by the way. Think about this. It's almost like he targeted Ubisoft as a potential acquisition back then. I know many have thoughts about their recent comments around their subscription service and games ownership, but I'm not here to talk about that today. I want to talk about one key new win and a recent win that is finally getting its true due. With Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, Ubisoft took a significant step forward in cultural representation and inclusivity. This title stands out as the first Western game fully localized into Persian, an achievement that speaks volumes about Ubisoft's commitment to embracing and respecting diverse cultures. Could it be that this guy, I'm just theorizing here because I don't know, Could it be that this guy's a plant that was sent from Tencent to inject DEI, knowing full well it will destroy a company? And this guy pushes it so hard, knowing that every moment that it gets pushed forward, it will collapse the company more and more. And the more it collapses the company, the cheaper the acquisition price will be after Tencent sets their target on what they've created. Sebrew says, I've said this for a year. I mean, you're not the only one. I've said it. I've seen Hypnotic say it. I've seen Endymion say it. I've seen Grum say it. Like a lot of people. It's not like this secret that no one's talking about. I don't want to act like I'm the smartest guy in the room either. I'm just saying, like, it's pretty convenient now that, I don't know, the conspiracy theory that many people have been pointing at is happening. So there's that. And that was in reply to Hypnotic talking about this. And here he goes. For those further curious, again, what this means is Ubisoft sold their franchises to a new company that they have full control over, but is backed 25% by Tencent. This new company that will operate and produce their established franchises has a massive 25% stake by Tencent, giving them economic stake in the company. Ubisoft will now have to pay royalties to Tencent on every single major franchise video game sold under this new company, thus resulting in less profit per sale to Ubisoft for their franchises. Tencent wins. China wins. Injecting DEI destroyed a company for China to come in and pick up the scraps. While Ubisoft maintains full control, Tencent saved them for now, only to continue to garner more control later, like they've been doing for years. Exactly. Watch what Tencent does 2 years from now and 4 years from now, and notice how they slowly start to gobble up what's happening with Ubisoft, and it just becomes controlled by Tencent. Ubisoft had to sell these franchises to this new company in order to keep control over the actual company, Ubisoft. It's an interesting dynamic going on here. For now, they maintain full control over this new subsidiary, but still have to pay regardless as if they didn't. It's a very, very strange situation. I'm sure there are documented cases in the history of business doing stuff like this, but this is a particular one. It's a very particular one, put it that way. And I have a feeling that these people that are pushing woke ideologies, they're just NPCs being used by China and other communistic areas of the globe to be able to scoop up and make even more money. And all honesty, the more I think about it, the more obvious it is. It's actually not even, they're not even hiding it anymore. Inkling says globalism, 100%. So yeah, that's a situation with Ubisoft, and it's not looking great for them moving forward. But we'll see what happens next. I'll leave that there.